Monster Tracks.
So today is a new day from yesterday. We were taking our son out for his birthday, but we ended up not going into Longhorn because that was like a 30 minutes wait. But while we were standing there was a man with his daughter and his son. And as I was getting ready to tell the lady how many we had in our party, I hear his son say, "They're black." So when I heard that, I turned and I looked, and the man, he kind of snatches his son's shoulder, and then his sister said, "Hey, you don't say that." And I'm not gonna lie, it kind of stunned me. And when the lady, she kept asking like how many, I couldn't even tell the lady how many people that we had in our party because I really wanted to address it, like not in a attitude-ish, mean kind of way, but I wanted to have a conversation. Now, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything to the man, but I did turn around and look at the host and say, he said they're black. But I don't know if she heard it, but if she did, she didn't want to make any kind of move like she heard it. So she just continued to ask me how many was the party. So I told her how many it was. She told me it would be a 30-minute wait. So I asked her, I said, "So do we need to wait in the car?" She said, "Yes. I take your number, give you a call when your table is ready." So I said, okay, I gave her the number. And as I gave her the number, as we proceed to leave out of the building, I looked at the man. I really wanted to make eye contact with him because if he would have made eye contact with me, that would have been a conversation starter for me. And for the conversation, I just would have like really wanted to ask, because it sparked the interest for me. I really wanted to ask, like, where do your son go to school, or where do he stay that he don't see black people? And that would have been an insinuation for me, but my insinuation would have came from the way how his son said they're black. Now, there was another moment when we first walked in, because we have a special need daughter. She has lissencephaly, cerebral palsy, and Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. And whenever we always get looks and stares and stuff like that. But whenever I see the looks and stares, I always use that as a teacher moment. If they're willing to listen, I always talk to them about her disorder, because I love bring awareness to it. So I seen his daughter waving at our daughter when we first walked in. So I said, okay, that's so sweet of her. So I was like, I said, that's so sweet of her. That's my thought to myself. So at times when I see little children waving at her and stuff like that and looking, I will ask the parent, "Do you mind if I speak with your child about my child?" If they give me to go ahead, I'll go ahead and start telling them a few things about her. And I'll say the reason why she's not able to speak back, because she's, her mobility that she has, she's not able to, but I appreciate you speaking to her. And then I just tell them a little bit about her, and then we go on about our way. Use that moment as a teacher moment. So I was already paying attention to that, because I'm like, yep, here go my time to talk about our baby disorder, bring awareness again. But in the midst of that is when I heard his son say, "They're black." So then that became, okay, here go another conversation piece, a teacher moment that we can possibly learn from each other, because I was really wondering, like, what would make him say that way. But his father would never look up. And then also I'm very cautious about the things I do when I'm out and about with our children, because I never want a commotion to start. So that's another thing that I feel like I probably didn't say anything, because not knowing how the father would react, and then didn't want to put my husband in a situation and with our kids and our children and all that stuff like that. So I really didn't say anything, but the urge in me of wanting to know, it was really, really, really like on me, and I really wanted to say something. So when we got in the car, that sparked the conversation for myself with my husband, and then along with my children. I asked my husband, I said, "Did you hear what the little boy said?" My husband was like, "No." So I told him what the little boy said, and he was like, Oh, he said no. I didn't hear that, and I told him the reaction of the little boy dad and his sister, and then my husband was like, "Well, the man, he probably was ashamed." And then I said, and I love the way his little sister, no, his big sister, but it didn't look like she was that much older than him. And I love the way her reaction was because hers was quick, and she was like, "No, you don't say that." And then also, as we walked out the building, she continued to wave at my baby. And that made me feel so good. And I just really wanted to talk to her about my baby. But at the same time, I had the other moment on me. So it's like I wasn't able to address it how I would normally address it. So we're sitting in the car. So that also prompted me to ask my children. So I asked my son, I said, "Do you know what your race is?" And my son said, "Race." He said, "What that mean?" But we never had that conversation. That conversation just never came up. So I asked him, I said, like African American, black. I said, "What race are you?" He said, "I don't know." So I proceeded to tell him what his race is, and then I kind of left it at that. But I told my husband, I said, and I asked my daughter, she didn't know either. So then after that, I looked at my husband. I said, because at the time my husband wasn't in the car. So I said, I asked them what their race is, and I said they didn't know. He said, because that's not something that we sit around and talk about. That's not a conversation that we have. But then, so after my husband said that, it's like, okay, maybe it's time to have a conversation with them about that. But then at the same time, I'm like, do I really need to have a conversation with them about that right now? Y'all let me know what y'all think about that when it comes to the conversation and talking about that, because really puzzle, that's something that I'm gonna have to pray on, because I try to introduce life situations with my children when they are ready. When they come to me and say, "Mom, what is A, B, C?" Then we talk about it. So that's how I try to introduce life situations to them when they prompt me that they're ready. I never been a parent to try to sugarcoat anything from my children. I talk to them like they're little adults. Children that will be adults later. I try to talk to them in that way, but still on a child level. So when they prompt me that they're ready, and then we proceed to go on and talk about life situations, it's just I know I need to talk to them about this, but finding a way to talk to them about it. So that's something that I have to pray on. And then as we're putting the children in the car, I see the dad walk out the building. I'm like, boom, there go my time to say something to him, but my feet didn't move. And I'm not sure why it didn't, but I always say and I always pray and ask the Lord to let me speak when I need to speak. So I just took it as, okay, yep, just let that be a moment and just leave it alone, because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I can be very direct. Sometimes I feel I have a little bit of my granny in me, and that woman will say what she need and feel, and it be that. And I do have that in me. So I try to be mindful of that, because even though sometimes stuff need to be said, sometimes it's best unsaid. And I'm so learning and practicing that. So I always pray, Lord, before I open my mouth, my tongue move, guide it for me. So I took it as, okay, Monique, the Lord was saying, nope, just let that be. That's a moment for you to speak to your children, and not have a moment with that the man and his children. So that's how I just I took that. But we end up not eating alone. We really didn't want to wait that time. And then plus, I'm not gonna lie, that was still on me, because I wanted to talk. I wanted to have a real get down conversation. So that would have been like interrupting their day and all that stuff like that. But I just wanted to talk and just see what would prompt him to say that. Like, I just really wanted to know. But we ended up going home. We got some food on the way and just brought it back home, and we ate our food at home. So y'all let me know how you feel about that. Give me some of your opinion and advice. Let me know how you would have handled it, or did I handle it the right way? Did I handle it the wrong way? I just want to know your thoughts on that, because I didn't get mad or anything like that, or wanted to go and say, why would your son say something like that? I just really want to have a conversation and just try to learn from each other. Use it as a moment. As a moment. But yep. All right. Until next time.